Hi, this is Tux Tucker reporting for the University at University of North Florida here in the Student Union, and we just finished up the 5th annual Gawad Kalinga benefit concert. I have one in front of us.
My name is Rodel Llanes. I was the 2013 president for FSA, and I was the GK speaker this year.
Okay, so as you can see behind you, in front of us, is the UNF-FSA logo. So being the president, how important was it to come back and be that speaker and really talk about what had happened in the Philippines and what we're trying to do?
Well, funny story, actually was very last minute to be the speaker, but when they asked me, I kind of put myself into it because I knew what it was like, because my mom is from the Visayan region, so I knew I had family that was somewhat sort of affected, so it just kind of hit home, and it kind of was almost a tearjerker when I started making the speech.
Well, you held it together, and I think it was very important that everybody know how important it is to go ahead and support what had happened during the typhoon. And so we've already seen and heard from you what hope for the Philippines was, and what Gawad Kalinga is. So why is it important that UNF-FSA supports something like this?
Well, with FSA, especially within Jacksonville has probably one of the biggest Filipino communities in Florida. We're just mainly because we're a Navy town, so there's a lot of families that end up retiring here.
Sure.
And most of us, at least most of the kids, we are first generation Filipinos. So giving back to GK is sort of like a tribute to our parents. As some of us said in previous years, we want to give back to our homeland, give back to where our parents came from, because that's kind of our root. Our culture is the root. Our culture is the Philippines is the root of our culture, our homeland. So it kind of hits home.
Right. When you explained what had happened, during the typhoon and how only the popular or populated areas were affected, I had no idea about those outlying areas. Number one, we don't live there, and those who have family back there, like you have, really tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my family is from a little small town. My mom's family is from a little small town called Hamindan. It's smack dab in the middle of Capiz. It's the town's probably as big as this campus probably, on the main part of the town. So when I found out, first thing I did was ask my mom to see if she called my relatives, see if they got in contact. And I checked on Facebook because they're always messaging me on Facebook about stuff. Luckily, they were all okay. But when I went into more research, other parts of my mom's area, like Capiz and really smaller parts of the Visayas, were still being affected, and Leyte was still one of the biggest regions that was noticed. But there were still people in really outlying minor areas that were still not getting enough help.
Well, you know what? Bringing to light what the organization is about enlightened me. So if it enlightened me, more than likely the whole audience got enlightened too about why it's so important to go ahead and give back to our community. So why is it important as first generation or second generation Phil-Ams support something like that from our community to their community?
Well, one, it's like I said before, it's our roots. It's essentially where we come from. You can't really. One of the phrases I always go was know your roots, know where you come from, because it's what makes you. So if you don't support something, if you don't support, say, my mom wants to retire back to the Philippines when both our parents are retired, and she, if they go back to the Philippines, I have to support them. So it's kind of already giving that aspect of you want to help your people, because my parents came from really rural areas, and they came here for a better life. So that's why I really love doing these kind of things, like benefit concerts and do stuff for GK, because it really hits close to home.
Well, really appreciate you being president number one back in the day, not too far long ago. But even coming back and supporting FSA like you are now. So really appreciate it. And again, this is Tex Taka reporting from the University of North Florida towards the end of the 5th annual Gawad Kalinga benefit concert. So go ahead and say bye-bye to our Sofasa family. Bye-bye.